Hi everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, and this week's contract tip has to do with the lead-based paint disclosure. So, a couple things. One is that if you are involved in a contract where the property or any part of the property was built prior to 1978, you are absolutely required to use the lead-based paint disclosure exhibit. I encourage you check with your broker, but regardless of what your broker says, to protect you and your license, I encourage you to make sure to use the lead-based paint exhibit regardless of the age of the house. If anything in that house or any of the improvements on the property, like a barn, an outbuilding, anything like that, could have been constructed, used, painted prior to 1978. For example, you could have a modern house that was built in 2000, yet they have an antique mantelpiece. Well, what does antique mean to you? Definitely means that it was built prior to 1978. So as you're showing the house, as you're walking through the house, or as you're listing the house, if anything in the property at all could have been there that was made, constructed, built, painted prior to 1978, you absolutely need to use the lead-based paint disclosure. And this is an EPA mandate. And what we have learned is that the EPA is conducting surprise searches on files, audits, I should say, on real estate contracts to make sure that, number one, the lead-based paint disclosure has been used. Number two, it has been signed and initialed properly by all parties, buyer, seller, and agents. And number three, that the lead-based paint, the HUD pamphlet, the information is also a part of the file. And violations include missing and or incomplete forms. And incomplete forms are those missing signatures, initials. Each of those constitutes a violation. Initial fines for the first offense can be as much as $11,000 per violation. And this would be levied on you as the agent, and can be assessed against each agent and the brokerage company involved in a transaction, regardless of the party you represent. So even if you are a buyer's agent and you get a lead-based paint disclosure and you see that the seller's initials are missing next to the part where the seller needs to initial, you need to make a counteroffer and require the seller to initial those sections, even though that's not your client. And that's mostly what's missing, are the initials. On the lead-based paint disclosure, in the GAR forms as well as in the FMLS form, there are places for the buyer to initial, the seller to initial, and you as the agent representative of the broker, affiliated licensee of the broker, to initial. In these exhibits too, it also says that the buyer must receive a copy of that EPA pamphlet information about lead-based paint. And you need to keep, you as an agent as well as your broker needs to keep copies of these files per license law for 3 years. So the GAR form is F54. It's the lead-based paint exhibit. The GAR pamphlet is B11, and it's the lead-based paint pamphlet, easy for me to say. And there is another GAR form, F58, which is disclosure information concerning lead-based paint. In the RE forms, it is RE 140, disclosure of information on lead-based paint. And then the pamphlet is RE 141, the EPA's protect your family from lead in the home. So again, you guys need to protect yourself, protect your license, and protect the public from lead-based paint. House built prior to 78, anything in the house or on the property, any improvements that could have been built or painted prior to 1978, use a lead-based paint exhibit. Make sure on those exhibits that everybody has initialed where required. Buyers, sellers, you as affiliated licensee. Third thing, make sure that the public gets a copy of those EPA pamphlets with information and disclosures on lead-based paint in the home. Thank you so much for watching. Again, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education.